As we look at that, and we've teased this name before earlier in the show, the Shattuck test. Dun dun dun. What is that? What is it that you do, and what did you find this year when you did the Shattuck test?
So what I tell people, really starting in November, as they're kind of preparing for not just Giving Tuesday but year end in general, is you got to make sure people can donate. Number one, so I encourage people to donate to themselves. First of all, make sure everything's working, right? Because you don't want to wake up on November 30th or December 1st or whatever day Giving Tuesday is, and something's broken or it's not working the way you want it to. Maybe your vendor lets you down or it's not working on the mobile app. Just making sure that happens. And I'm going to be saying that over the next couple of weeks because December 30th and December 31st, same thing. Even with the tax law changes, December 31st is still the biggest day. There's still something in our brains that, oh, I got to make that gift before, the ball drops and get that 2021 gift in. So you can still do this. So number one, can you accept donations? Is everything working the way you want? And it's a good thing to do, not just in November and December, but maybe once a month or maybe once a quarter just to make sure. But then the other thing, and something I talk a lot about in my book, is what happens after someone donates. This is usually kind of an afterthought, right? What are we saying to these donors? What's that experience post online donation look like? Because if they're a brand new donor, for example, these are the first things that we are saying to these donors, even though it's through automated processes, right? It's that automatic receipt that the online giving provider sends out. It's your website's confirmation page. I tell people to look at those two things very closely because they're usually kind of an afterthought and they are usually very robotic and boring and transactional. And then the donor isn't getting anything from us that is really kind of, saying thank you in a heartfelt way until perhaps days or weeks later, if at all. So what I look at, it's basically a secret shopping experiment, I guess, secret donation experience or experiment where I do that. And I look at people's confirmation pages and the email receipts. And then I kind of see what they, send to me. Is it a welcome kit? Is it a phone call? Is it a handwritten note? And the reason I recommend those things is we looked at Bloomerang customers during the pandemic, who were really successful. And one of the main things we saw, in addition to the fact that they were asking more often than those who weren't, but it's that they were doing things like calling donors and sending videos and doing Zoom calls, things like this, or FaceTime calls, some sort of personal interaction. Because I think one thing that burns donors out on Giving Tuesday is it's a very transactional experience for them. But if you can go and give those donors a really positive personal experience, that is going to stand out amongst all the other perhaps Giving Tuesday gifts or year-end gifts that they make to other nonprofits if they are donating elsewhere.